Well, hello and welcome back. And it's May, and in fact, I'm a few days late. I'm recording this on, I think it's the 3rd of May today, if I remember. Yeah, we're into the 5th month of the year already. Amazing where the time has gone. It only seems a few, weeks ago since I sat further up in the garden and said it was the new year and January was here. I've been extremely busy. I haven't done that many videos of late. I've been really busy. As you can see, I'm sitting in a new little summer house. This bit of the garden was always a bit of a dumping ground. I had a little path that came to this little bit of garden which never really led to anything. They always tell me in garden, not that I'm a garden designer or ever wanted to be, but they tell me if you build a path, it should really go to something or a feature or something like that. And so this little path never did go to anywhere. So this was a bit of a dumping ground where I used to store my cut logs occasionally over the summer, some years. Many years ago, I even had a compost heap here. But now we have the green bins taken by the council for garden waste. I find that easier. Composting, we'll probably have a look at composting in a future video in small gardens. Can be done. I did it very successfully on my allotments where I'd got plenty of space to have 3 lovely compost bins that I made out of old scrap pieces of wood, but that's another story. So yeah, this little big garden was never really used. It was under the holly trees. You couldn't really grow anything here as much. Too sheltered and far too dry really. I did a little job for some people last year. I put a new base that they had, an old summer house, and the base had all slipped and sunk. They wanted the summer house taking down and a new base putting laid. So I did that, and they said, would you, if we had a skip, would you, cut the old summer house and put up in a skip for us? So I said, yeah, of course I will. Well, this was in walking distance from where I live, only just kind of up the road a little bit. And I thought although there was parts of this summer house that was rotten, it was just quite big, and some soil had fallen down. It built into a little bit of a bank with a block wall, and over the years I hadn't really noticed that soil had fallen down over the top of the block wall and gone up against the wood. It's only like very cheap shiplap timber, and it had gone rotten in parts. And one of the doors had gone rotten as well. So I did no more. I said, well, look, don't waste money. It skips a lot of money. I said, I'll take it home and panel by panel, which was quite heavy to carry, but I managed it because this thing was a lot bigger when in its original location. And I said, I'll cut it up and it will be great stick wood to light the fire. I'm always trying to think of ways of recycling things and not waste it and just send it to landfill. But nonetheless, I brought it home and I stood it up in by my garage wall up there, and there it had stood all over the winter. And then I had an idea that if I was to cut it down in size, particularly for this little bit of garden here, and then reuse bits of the timber that I cut all the rotten timber out, and bits and pieces. And so what I've managed to do, I've managed to build this little summer house totally free out of the old summer house that I was given or asked to take away, basically, that was going into a skip. So I've not spent a penny on timber on it. Certainly I bought a little packet of, I hadn't got any of the little packet like this, the special nails to put the shiplap timber back on, because I had to alter some of the panels and the sizes. So I think that was £2 or £3 I spent on that. I bought some new roofing felt for it, which there again was 27 pounds something. So, and I'd already got the muted clay. It's all got to be treated inside yet with this muted clay colour, which is my other wooden workshop I've got up there further up in the garden. Is stained or painted that colour, whatever you want to call it. It's this modern wood preservative with this, which is rather a nice colour. I don't know whether you see that. As I say, it's called muted clay, which very trendy, they tell me. So yeah, I've got this for free, so that's been taking a lot of my time up. I'm rambling on here. So yeah, it's May, and as you know, I like to come at the start of the month and just wish everyone a very happy May, and it's really the start of the intense gardening calendar now into May. And I've reminded of a few old May sayings, like never cast a clout till May is out, meaning don't take your woolies off or your or your thick wool vest off, because May can be quite a cold month, as we all know, and very changeable, much like April. But we've had a few nice days in April where it's been quite sunny and quite warm, but we've still had quite a few cold nights. And things in my greenhouse grow well. We might have a quick look at that. So yeah, May is a wonderful month. It's when everything really bursts into life. The trees become green again, the hedges are green. The biggest problem here is April has been so dry. We have only had a very, very small percentage of the rain that we normally get in April. So in fact, I've still been out watering things like my pansies and polyanthus, and watering the tubs every day. It's been amazingly dry until today, that is, when we've had some showers. But yeah, another old saying that comes to mind about May is a farming one. This is never shear your sheep in May, otherwise you'll shear them all away. Being there again, don't take their coats off, because they'll catch the death of cold, or could do if we have a cold month. So it's interesting. I like these old sayings, and I did put a little video up about here. In April, I was talking about the oak and the ash, which tree is going to get its leaves first. And if it was the oak, we're going to have a splash, going to have hardly any rain in the summer. And if it was the ash, we're going to have a soak. We could have a really wet summer. Well, here the ash trees are still barely out. The oak trees have been out, a couple of 3 weeks now, some of them, particularly the ones in the sun. But even the ash trees that are facing south, I'm sitting looking at one right in the distance, and compared with all the other trees I can see, it's still a long way to go. So hopefully we could have a good summer. And I love May. There's a little clip coming up of one of my rituals that I like to do in May. And obviously that will be self-explanatory, and it will follow this little bit of me rambling on here. So I hope you're all doing okay, and I hope you have a splendid May, and I should try and keep the videos coming. Obviously I've still got little bits of work to do on this little summer shelter, garden shelter, call it what you like. I've got to put the glass in. I have got all the glass. I saved all the glass. I took it all out carefully when I took this down. Obviously it had more windows originally. It had another window this side, which I've done away with. And so I've got to put the glass in, and then it's got to be treated inside, and 1 or 2 little bits of finishing off down the sides and the bottom. Luckily I did felt the roof yesterday before it rained, which was a plus point, because obviously the timber is lovely and dry up there. Well, I've come out this morning just for one reason, just to look and have a look at this wonderful May blossom, which is now out. This is the blossom of the common hawthorn. Commonly used as a hedge. It can be grown up into a smallish tree, can even make quite a large tree actually. But it's wonderful blossom for such a mundane tree that obviously gets so overlooked and ignored. But what I love to do, and what really makes the start of my if you like, year, or gardening year, or really growing time in the garden, is to come out and if you're on a walk or you have some of this near you, or you know some, it's just to have a smell of it. It's got a lovely, particularly if the sun, you really want the sun on it. The sun isn't out today, but the sun makes it smell even more scented, and it's got a strange scent, but I love to come out and smell the let's say the common hawthorn, and it's part of my ritual, if you like. So I've just come out on a little walk here and found this wonderful blossom, which is facing south, so it's been in the sun. It's a shame the sun's not out today. The bees love this as well. So there we go. That's part of my yearly ritual done, having smelt the May blossom, or the blossom of the hawthorn. So there we go. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a look on the outside of it. As I say, it still needs the glass in and quite a bit of finishing off yet, but I'm delighted with it. It really sort of this little path here, there again, I've put a lot of mud on it, and it needs a bit of a pressure washer just to clean it all off before when I've got a little step to do in front of the door there as well to finish off. But I'm really delighted how it's kind of filled this little gap up, and it looks so well there, and I think it looked lovely. Obviously I've got a little bit of barge board to put on there as well, just to tidy it all up, and I think I'm going to try and cut that out a bit fancy, make it look like a bit of kind of Victorian barge board with some nice swirls cut out. So we might have a look at that in June when it's all finished and all completed, and hopefully, and so I'm delighted with it. To think this has only cost me, well, barely £40 in total. Certainly a lot of man hours. Obviously I've had to alter panels and rebuild panels, and obviously I've just waited for better days and had it laid out on the patio and taken it to bits and reformed bits, and it's all been done outside. So I'm amazed how well it all fitted back together. I did take lots of measurements, and but you never know with timber, and so I'm delighted. So that's what I've been somewhat busy with. So as always, thanks for watching. Please do think about subscribing. It does help a smaller channel, as I always say every month. And thank you to all the new subscribers, and please comment, like, subscribe, and as always, good gardening, and I hope you're getting on well and your garden is growing well, whatever you've got growing this year. And I'll see you in a future video, and thanks as always for your kind comments and watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. So until the next video, my very best wishes, and bye for now.